She's back with another video. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. Why do I keep saying tonight? It is in the middle of the afternoon. I am so sorry. But night and day in Europe is it just all looks the same. So anyways, tonight's topic is the final countdown, the most popular, the most controversial. Is it controversial though? I don't know. I made sure that I got the exclusive limited edition version of the famous Napoleon Hill's Think. Why is my camera not adjusting? Why is it not adjusting? Okay. So that happened. Think and Grow Rich, the original classic from Napoleon Hill. Everybody is talking about this book still some 100 years later. It's been a while. And I decided that if I'm going to get a copy of this book, in the most infamous book of self-development, one of the first ones to be written on self-development, I'm going to get the exclusively fancy version. And let's get into it, shall we? Is it worth all the hype? Like, this seems to be a staple when it comes to personal development. And I must say, there are a lot of principles in this book that are extremely, like, common knowledge now in the self-development world. Back in the day, it was not so common. But I actually thumbnailed a lot of pages. Huh. Um, one about auto suggestion. I hope you guys like the way that I book report. I don't actually have like a special structure. I just give my first impressions and what stuck out for me because I think that unless you're going to read a book over and over again, there's no point in like summarizing the book because you're not. It's what you uh grasp and lasts in your brain that matters when you read a book. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I could do a summary and say, okay, the book has these points and this is what it's about. However, I will just talk about what stands out for me as a life coach and a personal developing advocate and fan. So let's get into it. The first thing for me that was super important because a lot of people think this is kind of silly or they understand that it is important, but they still think it's silly, so they don't do it because they don't want to look silly. Um, is I saw that is auto suggestion. Auto suggestion basically is you telling yourself that you could do the difficult thing that you do. And it works both ways. If you tell yourself you cannot do something, you won't. Because you are always telling yourself the thing that you believe most, and those things have a literal impact on your abilities. One of the other things that stuck out to me was the story of the little black girl who was being sent by her mom to get 25 cents. And the languaging of this, y'all need to just get with the times. The first book, the original version of this book was written in like 19. Anyways, this one is from 2000, and even though it was copyrighted and redone in 2009, the language is still quite outdated. I wasn't going to let it discourage me. 1908. So we're talking about like over 100 years now that this book has existed, and it has its quirks and its cons, pros and its cons, and I think that that was one of the cons, is that some of the languaging is just a little outdated and should probably be changed, but it begs the question as to how often do Black people or African Americans, or people of Black African descent read this kind of material to better themselves because it's super popular, but I don't find a lot of people in our communities talking about this kind of material. Um, or maybe I'm mistaken. If there are any people here who know more about that specific question, can you guys give your opinions down below or, cite any research that has been done on that particular question? That would be very useful for me. So organized planning, super important, super, super, super important for me, as a person who runs a business and has family and is a mother. Being organized makes or breaks my day, my month, and makes or breaks my ability to set my goals and accomplish them. So, hearing this principle that is over 100 years old being written down in the way that I think that it is super relevant. And overall, there's some other points. If you want to pick up this book, is it worth picking up? Yes. It is still very relevant. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Um, there is one chapter on the mystery of sex transmutation. I think that that is something extremely interesting that I never thought was a thing, but actually makes a lot of sense that it is a thing. And it tends to beg the question that why some successful men had their ultimate downfall because of not being able to have successful monogamous relationships, and how we need to be looking more into that for men as a thing as to how to measure success. Because especially in today's climate, I feel like I am observing, not I feel, I am observing that that seems to be something that comes up in the male circles, that their inability to be on a level of just having one relationship with a woman and having that woman be his support in his successful endeavors is not having that comes to his downfall. That makes sense. Am I saying that correctly? I don't know. I'm just freestyling it, you guys, but this book has definitely been worth the pick up. In terms of writing style, I would have preferred if Napoleon Hill was a little less wordy. Somehow I feel like that was just the style at the time, but I got through it page for page, piece for piece, bite by bite, every last single piece. I survived, because I'm a very thorough reader and I read very slowly. So this was something that I was able to get through. But if you're somebody who likes to jump around and grab concepts, this may not be the book for you. A lot of people feel like this book is only successful because it always was. So it's sort of like if you're into self development, you have to have this book. But I feel like it is worth the read and it does live up to the hype generally. Generally. So, if you guys like this kind of content, please like and subscribe to my channel. I put out content like this all the time. And if you have any questions about my Patreon, where I go into more detail about self development as a personal coach, please leave me a link, leave me your information so we can have a quick chat. Stay safe and stay free.